What's up, everybody? So we are back with another episode. Today I'm bringing on a gentleman. He's been absolutely crushing it. We've been working together for a little bit of time, but at first it was kind of like, let me try this lead, let me try this lead. And then beginning of January, we were like, yo, we're going to set something up special with his crew. And I have another one of their agents hopping on here soon as well. But yeah, I wanted to bring Marcos to the stage. Thank you for hopping on today, brother.
Yes, sir.
All right, perfect, bro. So
Anytime.
let's hop right into it, man. First and foremost, how did you get into the life insurance space, bro?
Oh, dude. So this was last year, maybe March. I was still in high school. I was looking through Instagram. I see Wes's post. I hit him up. And then from there, it's like, all right, this is what you got to do. You got to get your license. I'm like, all right, I will. And then I tell him, hey, I'm still in high school. It's going to take me a little bit to get this done. I end up getting it done. I passed my exam, and then that's it. I just saw him on Instagram. I hit him up. I was still in high school. I got out of high school May, hit the ball rolling, and that's it.
Yeah, dude, I actually didn't know that. Like dead ass, I did not know you were that young, bro. That's actually pretty dope. Okay, cool. So you hop into the opportunity. How were your first
Mhm.
30 days?
So first 30 days, a lot of learning, a lot of failing, and a lot of activity. Basically, all it was is I would wake up like 7, 8 a.m., take a shower, get some coffee, and then I would be right on my desk and I would not stop dialing till like 12, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. at times. It was just those full 30 days I understood that like I needed to get as many reps as possible, fail as many times as possible, and learn as fast as possible. That way I can make money as fast as possible. Right. So I took a lot of time. I wasn't really focused on, hey, I'm going to make this much or I want to do this much or X, Y, Z. I was just really focused on I got to fail the fastest and I got to learn the fastest. Because if I did those two things, I knew I was going to fast track me to success. And yeah, I mean, that's really about it. That's
I think that's no, I think that's wonderful, bro. I think you said the most important thing, in my opinion, that you just said right there is that you didn't have the expectation to try to close a lot of business. You just wanted to learn. We tell a lot of our clients that when they're coming in, they're like, "Oh, I want to get all these leads and blah blah blah." And I'm like, "Hey, if you've never done this before, you need to fail as fast as possible." And that's kind of always been our philosophy, even with offering people age leads and making it affordable. Which leads me to my next question. When you started, did you start with veteran leads or did you do final expense or what lead type did you hit your head against the wall for that first 30 days?
final expense for sure. Yeah, that's what I started on. It was just easier to get, easier to understand, I guess, the process of the sale at first and, all those things. And then later on, once I had the experience and, more capital, I was able to move over to vet leads.
Yeah, 100%, brother. So, what was that transition? A lot of people want to get into veterans. Some of clients that we work with, they've literally never heard of it. They get in our chat, they see you guys, they see our other clients killing it. They're like, veterans, what is that? So, what was that transition period like? Was it hard? Was it easy? Kind of walk us through that.
Yeah, so I really like when I'm getting into a new lead type or I'm trying something different out, is I'll start off with the H leads. So I hope everybody that's watching this, they understand the difference between an H lead and a fresh lead. Fresh lead is a drip in lead. It just comes in. As soon as they fill it out, it comes into you. You call them really high intent. H leads are people that have filled it out a while ago. Might not be, as high intent, but it's still a good lead to get some reps on it. So what I did is I had some capital. Now I knew it's the same type of sale because you're still selling final expense at the end of the day most of the time, but it's different types of people, right? So I different demographics. So I started off with H leads. I got into those and got my butt kicked a lot. And eventually was able to find some profit in those, and then I moved into the fresh leads. So that's kind of how the change was. Is I started off with the H leads, get some reps with us, minimizing my risk that I was taking, and then maximizing the profit because also veteran leads, and I'm sure it's going to be probably a question that comes later on, but they have more capital than a regular final expense lead. So
What was that moment for you when you were like, all right, I'm going from age to fresh? Like, was that a hard jump? 'Cause for some people, they're like, yeah, I'd rather buy these dollar, $3, $4 leads, get 100 of them. And then I know, you're willing to spend in order to get results. So can you talk about like an agent or talk to agents who are kind of nervous about making that jump from aged to fresh?
yeah, absolutely. Number one is you can just look at anybody that's running H leads and you can tell by the way they're working, right? This is the thing. When you're running H leads, you're playing a game of like, all right, I'm going to try to get a sale every other day, right? And that's not really a game that you should play in this industry. You should be consistently selling. For that, I'm sorry to tell you, but you need leads that are higher intent than just the effects lead. You can be a dog, you can be an animal, you can work 15 hours a day, but H leads are H leads, right? So you got to realize that actually this is how I look at it, and this is something that Wes, my upline, told me when I first came in, right? Is you're able to invest more and risk more when you know you're all in, right? So it's like from the moment that basically from the moment that I passed my exam, I was like, oh, I'm all in on this. I was willing to leave everything on the table, right? And when he said that, I was like, he's right. I mean, money's going to come back to me anyways. I'm all in, so I'm going to make this work regardless of if this pack, if this lead works out or not. I'm going to make this work. And also, the other thing that I'll point out is, would you rather spend 2 grand to make six, or would you rather spend six to make 20? Right. So anybody with a brain is going to say, oh, then I would way rather spend six to make 20. Well, it's the same logic that is behind eight leaves and fresh leaves, right? Same exact thing. So that's what I'll leave it at. Yeah.
No, I appreciate you for explaining that. That is, I mean, that's the truth from top to bottom. I know a lot of agents struggle with understanding that because they want to play yeah, spent $200 and I made 4 grand. It's like, yeah, but if you spent, 2 grand and made eight, then you still made eight. It's like, it doesn't really matter. Like, you know what I mean? So people want to play that game, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I think it's important to understand what is that jump. Now, you mentioned something earlier about leads. Can you talk about this is super important, and I talk a lot about demographics of lead types. Can you talk about the difference between a final expense lead itself, how they think, obviously the AP, just everything that you know about final expense, and compare that to a veteran from your experience?
I can do that. That's really easy. I love talking about this stuff. Final expense lead, it is a lead. It's just your typical old grandma that you see in the store, in the grocery store 24/7. Right? Sometimes they're using like the coupons for the food coupons. They're on Social Security most of the time. They don't have a lot of money. Their pay comes in one time a month. And it's not a whole lot. And usually they are unhealthier. They're the unhealthier side of America for sure, because of the way they grew up or the way they're treating themselves now. It doesn't matter. I can just guarantee that they're unhealthier. And vet leads, on the other hand, I'll put it this way. So vet leads are veterans, right? When you think of a veteran, what do you think of? You think of a hardworking man or woman that was in the military, that served a purpose. So that means they care about something, means they cared about not only just, their family, but they care about everybody else in the USA, right? So they have a sense of caring for others and watching out for others, makes them really inclined to buy life insurance to take care of them once they're gone. Other thing that I will say, most of the time let's put it this way. Even a person that's like any veteran, they're harder working than any other final expense lead, right? Because the way they grew up. For example, let's say they were in the military for 3 years and they were there until 22. I guarantee that after those 22 years, the military for 3 years taught them enough discipline to get a job, stick to it, and work, right? So that means their retirement is going to be pretty good, for example. Then we can talk about disability. Disability is huge. The VA is going to offer the disability for any veteran that has something happen to them in service or after service, and they receive a disability rating. Right? Let's say it goes anywhere from 0 to 100%. 100% disabled vets, I tell you right now, they get their Social Security check. They get an extra like 5 to 7 grand a month from the disability check, and then they have, most of the time, some of them worked in government jobs. So they have a pension. They're people with money, right? They're individuals that even when they're at the age of 70, 80, they have enough to throw $500, $600, $700 into a life insurance policy.
I want to ask a question that piggybacks off of that. So I hear some people talk about the expectations of veterans when they get on the phone. How do you handle, and we'll get into the script, but I think this is super important before we dive into that. How do you control and handle veterans' expectations? We know that they see a lot of different ads. Our ad is, in its own way, kind of unique. But nonetheless, I'm sure you have people that get on the phone and you're acting almost like you're educating them because they've seen things about veteran benefits. So can you explain to somebody, or if you get a client on the phone that talks about veteran benefits, like how do you explain that to the clients that hop on the phone with you and say that?
I'll keep it really, really simple with them, right? So like I believe that the best way to sell somebody is for them to understand you, right? It's a lot easier for them to understand you when you're as simple as possible, right? So when I'm educating them about things, I'm educating them with things such as VGLI, which is, life insurance that the VA provides. How it comes with a 2-year waiting period. Their term has an increasing premiums every 5 years. And I'll educate them about things like that. But as far as like when I'm like, I guess to set the tone of trust and credibility within myself, is I'm just asking very simple questions. When they ask me a question, I tend not to over explain at all. So I can say, oh, is this whole life return? Oh, well, sir, you are 73, so we're going to be looking at whole life for you. This is why. I'll say it's permanent coverage. I mean, you're going to have to take care of it once and you never have to worry about it again. Living benefits, just because the older side of America tends to have some form of chronically, terminally, or chronically illness, and you will be able to access the face amount of something that would happen. And I just keep it as simple as possible for them, right? And after every sentence, does that make sense? Yes. Okay, perfect. Now I'll move forward.
Got you. Quick question, and then I want to get into the script and like kind of your sales process. How are you working these leads? So for everybody that doesn't know, Marcos is doing the drip in real-time leads. Are you calling them when they first come in? Are you shooting them a text message? Let's start there. What's your initial process? Lead comes in. How do you approach it? How do you go about it?
I don't have a dialer. I don't have a CRM. All I have is my phone. If I text a lot of people off my phone, my iMessages get banned and I show up green and I can't FaceTime people. So I've learned my lesson. I can't really send a lot of text messages out. So what I do is, let's say a lead comes in and it comes in at a regular time throughout the day. Yeah, I'll give it a call. I'll ring it 3 times. And after then, I'm calling it 3 times a day, triple dialing each time. I'm not sending text messages unless they book an appointment with me. Sometimes, the leads call you. So that's even better. If I have a lot of these that call me and they just want life insurance, and that's about it.
Got you. Now, let's say you get leads over like a weekend or over a long period of time. I was like asking this because I like seeing how people approach it. So cool. Saturday night, you're kicking it. I don't know if you work all 7 days, but neither here nor there. Let's say there's a day where you don't work and you come back into the office. When you are working your list, I always like knowing this. Do you work your list from like top to bottom? Or because I know you said you're doing it on Google Sheets or whatever, or are you going from bottom to top? Are you rolling through all, let's say you have 30 leads, are you going through all of them? Or are you breaking them into like hours, like I'm gonna do 10 and 10? Or how do you approach like attacking the list?
I just go, let's say I sit down, it's 8 a.m. The lead that's at the bottom, first lead I'm calling, the lead that's all the way at the top is the last lead I'm calling. And if I have enough time throughout the day to do it again, I'll do it again. Because at the bottom is the more fresh one. So let's say, for example, during convention, I really didn't work that much, right? Because it was convention time, whatever, we are busy. So as soon as I got back home, just went from the bottom all the way up, closed like 6K, and then did it again today, closed another 4K. So it's like I just go down to bottom and from bottom to top, and most of the time I don't even get all the way up to the top because I just have conversations throughout the people that are more recent, right? So
Softly said he did 10K in 2 days. So I want to talk about last month real quick. How much did you do in premium or issue paid? Actually, big on talking about numbers, and then we can go into your script.
yeah, as far as week 3, January, right now it's 45, 46K. I should be touching 55 or 60. I think I had a pretty okay week 4.
Gotcha. Pretty okay week 4. Cool. So I was easily pushing past that 40K mark. So he's officially joined the club, y'all. So welcome to the 550, bro. I want to go into scripting. And instead of you going through, you could do the intro, but after that, I kind of want you to just walk us through your sales process. And here's why. A lot of people can close vet leads. You already explained why. They're straightforward, there's just no BS, but you close at a high clip. So I want you to walk through kind of your sales process. Where are you finding the money? Are you closing them on different types of premiums in regards to like equity protection, supplemental income? So I'm gonna let you take the floor. We can do the intro, and then like imagine you're talking to a brand new agent. Just kind of walk them through. Hey, this is where I ask medical questions. This is where I pitch options. This is how I do it, etc. So the floor is yours, bro.
All right, got it. So first when I get on the call, it's like, hey Trey, this is Marcos. I take care of the veterans life insurance here in whatever state they're in. How's everything going? Good news. I was just getting back. So I got that form you sent over. You wanted Rhonda as the beneficiary on that. Yes. Okay. Perfect. And then I'm finding out the main concern. So that's the intro right there. So I'm explaining real quick who I am, what I'm about, what I'm about to go over on the phone call, right? And then they understand that this is about life insurance. That's the first thing that I want to get out the way. Once that happens, it's all about value. I think that you have to build a lot of value. And that way you can close them right on the spot, no rebuttals, no anything. So I'm asking a lot of questions. Actually, there's, I think, 0 times in my conversations where I can go from point A to point B, which point A is intro, point B is an application, that I say a statement about myself. It's always a question, right? Or I always end my sentence with a question. I'm asking questions, and I'm actually going to answer how do I find the money here in 1 second, but I'm finding out their main concern, and I'm building a lot of value around it, right? So I'm like, is this something you've been wanting to get taken care of for a while, or just now getting around to it? Oh, well, just now getting around to it. I get you. Just have you had a recent death in the family, or are you just getting older? Oh, I'm just getting older. Okay, I get you. Just getting older and finally think it's time to get it taken care of. Yes. Okay, perfect. So I'm asking open-ended questions. I'm asking close-ended questions to the point that's like, okay, this or this. And then whichever way they go, it's good for me, right? and then I do it again, and then until they give me an answer like, yes, this is something I need now, right? Sometimes I will also, this how I find the money is after I build enough value, I find out what they have in place. So I'll say most vets I talk to nowadays have 2 or 3 policies in place. How many are you currently working with? That's number one, going to build some emergency if they have none. And let's say they say, yeah, I have one. Okay, perfect. Then that one, are you looking to add on to it or replace it? Add on. Okay, how much are you paying for that policy? From there, like let's say they say, I mean, I've had this so many times, like, oh, I'm paying like 180. 180. Okay, I get you. So kind of keeping it on that same mark is what we're looking to do here. Yes. Okay, perfect. Right. Write down finding the budget. And let's say, for example, right, on that one, let's say I actually had this today. A person wanted to add on coverage. She was paying about 170. So I gave her the option. The prices that I was looking at were cheaper than what she has. So I was giving her options like this is to add on, which is very little. So it would be like 10,000 for 80 something, right? And let's just say 20,000 for 180. I'm pitching 20,000 for 150. And then I'm also pitching consolidating both, which is 30,000 for 210, right? And then that's kind of how I get the upsell is I understand what they're paying for, what they're looking to do. If they want to add on and they're paying 180, they can afford more than $180, right? If they're
Right.
looking to replace, they can't afford more than $180. So I got to keep it under that, right? So that's how I go about it most of the time. If I don't have a number yet and they is their first time looking for life insurance, I just ask them, okay, and then what's a good monthly budget that you were having for this? That let's say, oh, as low as possible. Yeah, that's my only goal is to make sure we find something that's beneficial and comfortable. I guess most vets they like to stick around 100 to $250. Is that the same for you? Yes. Okay, perfect. We'll look into those options. And then from there, I'm pitching the options, which I'm pitching A, B, and C. A is going to be 50% of their budget. B is going to be 75. C is going to be 100% of their budget. And I'm going to say A is something to get your foot in the door. B is what most people go with. And C, I don't recommend. Why I say C, I don't recommend it is because it builds more trust within myself and I'm not trying to sell the person. B, I mean, if any human, right, it's like human psychology or whatever, you give them 3 options, they're more inclined to go with the middle one. So I'm just making it even more inclined. That way they pick an option because last thing you want them to do is not pick an option, right? So by you hitting on the option that's already more likely to get picked, you hit it on it again, they're more likely to now pick an option, whether it's that one or a different. And from there, I get into the application, which in the application, I guess in the application, I'm going over like obviously I'm asking the application questions, but I'm also getting to know my client, right? I'm building more of a relationship than I did at the beginning, right? I'm building, I guess, a client agent relationship, really simple questions. Any grandkiddos, any XYZ, how was your Christmas, right? Just things like that, building a relationship with them. Before the numbers, I forgot to mention this, before I give them options, they can ask medical questions, right? So first, this is the easiest way to do it. I ask medical questions, I ask for a pen and piece of paper, and then I'll give them options, right? The way I do it that way is first they find out who I am. So that's my intro, right? Then I'm finding out why they want the life insurance, which is I'm building their why, I'm building the value, I'm seeing if they have anything in place. Second, I'm seeing what they can qualify for. The third, I'm seeing what they can qualify for, which is me doing the medical questions, right? And then last step is I find out how much they can afford. Right now, I have all 5 of those things, all 4 of those things. I find out why they want the life insurance, what they can qualify for, and what they can afford. Excuse me, 3 things. What they can afford, and from there, I don't need anything else, right? It's like I know everything. It's really easy for me to sell them, provide them the options that make sense for them because we're brokers, so we can actually look wherever we want and provide them those options that make the most sense. And from there, as soon as they pick an option, it's really easy. So that's what I'm doing. That's my sales process.
Yeah, dude, first of all, I appreciate you for sharing that, bro. That was extremely detailed. And I know whoever watches it is going to get tremendous value from it. I feel like for most of the time, from what I've heard, a lot of these veterans are very straightforward. But do you have any special, unique way of going over like banking or social, or are you just like super direct? Just like, hey, what's your social? What's that process for you?
Yeah, I mean, I think any lead type you should, any application that you're on, just ask for the social. I mean, it's your job, right? It's like if you make it weird, it's gonna be weird. I'm just like, all right, is this a good cell phone number to attach to the policy? Okay, and then what social you gonna attach to the policy? It's really normal, right? And people try and make it seem like that, add all this stuff on, like, okay, now real quick before I ask you this, I want to make sure that you know that this is to verify that you're a U.S. citizen, so the company can do the medical information, all this stuff. Is like, dude, they don't need to know that, right? It's your job to ask for it. You can tell them if you want. Like if they give me a rebuttal, I'm like, yes, they need to verify that you're a U.S. citizen, so they can actually do the medical background check and they can approve you for the coverage. Okay, so whenever you're ready, right? So it's I'm keeping it like I said, simple. You have to be straightforward. You got licensed. I hope everybody that's watching this has a life insurance license. You went through a course and you took an exam. So now you're licensed to do this. So it is your job to ask for people's social security number. For banking, it's the same. I mean, we're getting a life insurance policy, right? We're able to set the start date out if you need to, but we're getting a life insurance policy. So if they give me a rebuttal on banking, I mean, number one is it can be one or two things. It can be they don't trust me or they don't want the coverage. If they don't trust me, that's easy to fix, right? Because I send them my license, I send them whatever it is that they need, I'll do that, right? Make sure they can trust me. Most of the time, that doesn't happen anymore because I used to struggle with that. And second, if they don't want the coverage, they don't want the coverage, right? That's something we got to all realize. People can take you all the way. You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. So it's the same thing with that. I mean, they're smart, right? They're not dumb. They don't expect you to pay for the coverage. Sometimes I'll be kind of like I'll just like if they say, "Oh, I have to attach my bank," and I say, "Well, Mr. Johnson, you don't expect me to pay for this, right?" And I'll just let them know straight up, right? Make a little joke, take the tension off of it. Well, you don't expect me to pay for this, right? And then it's like they feel stupid for saying that, right? And once I'm sorry to say it that way, but once somebody feels stupid, it's like, yeah, he's right. Why am I complaining about this? And then they
Right.
realize it. Yeah.
Right, right. No, I like that, bro. All right. I want to wrap up with this. Obviously, you've written close to 50K off the leads. I want you to talk about your experience working with us and the text verified leads. For the person that's like, man, I don't know about Agent Lead Lab, I don't know about their leads. Can you briefly, the floor is yours to finish this out, brother, but talk about your experience, the team, and the leads thus far, bro.
So I'll start with this. I've tried every single lead type on planet Earth, I'm pretty sure. I've mainly stuck to GOAT leads or CRM leads. If you guys are in FFL, you know what those are. Really pricey, but they were always really consistent, right? So I was like, all right, well, whatever, I'll take them, right? And then we partnered up with Trey. And I mean, at first I was still running my CRM leads. And I was like, dude, I just need to find something a little bit less expensive so I can be more profitable. That's all I want. It's like I'm writing enough, but I'm not as profitable as I want to be. So I've tried every single lead under the sun to try and make that happen. Didn't work. We got here, and it took a lot of time. Me and Trey, I mean, me, Trey, and Wes, we talked about a lot of different things and strategies and things like that. Happily, I'm really happy that Trey worked with us and not against us, and we were able to figure out a plan together. And he was always really helpful about it. So the fact that they were there to help us and we could customize what we wanted to be tailored to our agency and our agents and what we like to do, then it made it really easy for us to say, okay, this is what we want. All right. And then the next thing that we had to find out, all right, how long will it take for this to pick up? We found out. Didn't take too long, right? So from there, it's just, the sky's the limit now, but it really has been a blessing. And I actually have a client calling me right now that I have to call him that we set an appointment for. So,
Yeah, you're good. We're wrapping up, bro. So that's a great end to this joint, bro. You can take the call.
all right.
All right.
Well,
Appreciate you, brother. We'll talk soon. Go ahead
absolutely.
and pick that up.
Let me know
Yes,
if you need
sir.
anything. All right. Peace out.